I'm Colin Kiley, and I'm in Eugene, Oregon, the University of Oregon, in this room. With traveling, especially like, yeah, I guess anywhere else, foreign countries, I guess, you really learn to, I guess, how do you say, you learn to be in the moment about things. And, so maybe you don't have your cell phone on you, or it doesn't work, or you don't have your watch, and you don't have all the amenities that you're used to back at home, but you learn to make things work regardless. Like if you need to meet with someone, you just tell them, hey, I'm going to meet you here around 5. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and no one's angry and no one's upset. And I think that's one of the biggest differences between here and other places is, time's not as big of a factor. So it's cool to learn to live in the moment and not, be so constricted by time. I was able to do a study abroad last year, and I got to go to Western Samoa, American Samoa, Fiji, and Hawaii. So it was a pretty all around the Pacific trip. And yeah, just basically studying Pacific Island studies there. A favorite part was basically just getting to hang out with the people there. We went with the group, so we were, with each other, but I think some of my best memories came with hanging out with the other people that we stayed with on our campus, people from Tonga, people from Fiji, Vanuatu, all these other places in the Pacific, and it was cool to have that melting pot right there on campus. But we also got to do some homestays in the village, and that was challenging at first with language barriers and custom barriers and all this stuff, but that was where some of my best memories were. So it's one of those things where you kind of look back, and that's where it was the most fun. Favorite food? Oh, there's this thing called palusami, and it's basically you grind up coconuts like on a coconut grater, and then you squeeze out the coconut milk, and you put the coconut milk with onions and salt, and then you mix that up, and then you put that inside a handful of taro leaves, wrap that up, put that in banana leaves, and then put that in breadfruit leaves, and then you cook it, and then it turns into like this kind of like a little bit of like a paste, something that you dip taro or breadfruit in, and it's just amazing. It's really good. That's what they eat like every Sunday for their Sunday meal, and it lasts all day. Oh God, yeah. I'm trying to think of probably one specific one. So there's these, in Samoa, there's a culturally accepted third gender there called fa'afafine, and it's basically where, like a man can act as a woman and fulfill like some responsibilities around the household tied to like women's chores and everything. And it's a pretty natural thing. It's been there since before the missionaries were there, so it's been around for a long time. And so sometimes people poke fun at the fa'afafine or whatever. When I got into the village, I had long hair back then, so I guess that didn't help. So one of the brothers in the family that I was staying with, he gave me the handshake, but with the little weird finger in the middle, or it rubs against your palm. Just one of those weird signals that you should never get from anyone ever. And so I got one of those, and I was really weirded out by that. And so they're like, "Oh, sit down. Let's get to know you better." And then I sat down on the couch, and then he puts his arm around me, and I was just like, what's the deal with that? Like, okay, maybe he's a certain way. And then we went back to, the room. We were watching music videos later, and he's talking to his friend, and I was like, oh, who's that? He's like, oh, that's my boyfriend. And I was like, oh, okay, so, he's gay. That's okay, whatever. I just don't want anything to happen in the middle of the night. And then, the whole week happens while we're there, and then later on, one of the girls in my group is passing by, and he's like, oh, I really like her. And I was like, you mean you like her? And he's like, yeah, I really like her. And I was like, so you're not gay or something? So apparently, and this is the conclusion that I and my friends have come up with, the whole family was just poking fun at me for having long hair, and I think they were having their own inside joke about me being a fa'afafine because I had long hair. So that's my take on it. I'm not sure if that's how it actually happened, but it was a very interesting week in the village. I think it's very beneficial. It gives you a real different perspective on the world. I think when you grow up here, you have a set way of thinking about the world and how it's supposed to function. But then you go elsewhere and you realize, oh, that's not like America at all. That's not like here at all. But they get by, and that they live like that, and they're happy. And so it gets you to start thinking like, well, maybe my way's not the right way, or it's not the only way. So I think that's really important, especially now when there's like all these people on TV that are like, oh, they need to do this and they should act like this and they need to have democracy. It's just like, well, maybe you should go live with them and see, how they do things for a little bit. So I think especially now, it's really important now that we're doing all this global stuff. We really need to start paying attention to how other people function in the world. So yeah, travel's important for that. Something I love is food and music and drinking. And because those are things that you share with other people, and nothing better than hanging out with a good group of people. Something I'm afraid of, an earthquake right now. Earthquakes are pretty bad out there, but yeah, as far as things I'm afraid of, not too much. I'll just deal with it when it comes to happen. And what was the last one? Something you've lost. Something I've lost. Let's see, something I've lost. I'm trying to think, but nothing's really coming. I've lost money before. No, I can't really think of anything.